This is 89.7 FM. Broadcasting live 24 hours a day. 89.7 FM.
We just came from playing you. That's a track by Kat Dalia. It's a song called Crazy. So this is the Business Buzz right here on RMR 89.7 FM. And right now it's time for us to get into our real people, real careers. And I'm joined in studio today by Hiten.
Yeah.
Yes, Hiten Keshave. How are you, Hiten?
Oh, good, thanks to yourself, Mudiwa.
I'm doing alright. How have you been?
No, not too bad. Just busy with the MBA.
How's that MBA going?
It's good. One of the recommended courses here I would give in terms of MBA if you plan to go into management future. It's a very good course, Rhodes-wise, in terms of it's different to other universities, a lot more management-based.
Yeah.
So it's a lot more applicable to, people who are not actually in commerce faculties or studied management or accounting and that. So, like, as you can see in our class, there's doctors, there's guys who are from government that haven't got commerce backgrounds and that. But because the course is a lot more management-based and, it's applicable to a lot of people, a broader environment. A lot of the bigger universities, UCT, Stellenbosch, Tux, they offer the MBA, but under a lot more technical basis.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So it's a good, it's something I do promote. Should someone want to get into.
Okay. This is your second round of Rhodes University. How was the first round? Because I feel like we need to talk about the fact that you're now an accountant. So how was that journey getting to? Did you always want to be an accountant?
I initially applied for medicine,
wow.
But I didn't get I got accepted very late in my orientation week for Rhodes University. I got a call up from Rhodes University to say, we've accepted you for medicine. But then at that point I was like, I've already settled down in Rhodes.
Yeah.
Let me just stay. Accounting was always a strong point for me in school.
Yeah.
So it was just a second choice for me when it came to application. So
okay, I'd be very interested to know, and I'm sure that the people that are doing DIPAC at the moment would be interested to know, did you go through DIPAC in 1 year?
Yeah, I managed to go through DIPAC in 1 year, but it was a big change.
Yeah.
Compared to my first 3 years, discipline played a big factor. I won't lie, at Rhodes University, you've got a party, but you've got to balance your work life also, your study life. If you don't have the right balance, you're going to fail sadly. And I've seen it happen in my time here at Rhodes. There were guys who in third year with me who failed to make it into DIPAC. And there were guys in DIPAC who were with me and failed to pass. And it was good. Guys who repeated twice or three times. And it's because they underestimated the level of work in your DIPAC or your honors, if you want to call it also.
Okay. For those people that that are listening and don't know, DIPAC is it should be the higher diploma in accounting.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's HDIP, right?
Yes.
That's, higher diploma in accounting, and loosely speaking, it's an honors in accounting.
Yes.
Because I hear that accounting honors is something different.
It's the same thing, except for in accounting honors, you just got to write a mini thesis.
Oh, okay.
That's the only difference.
So it's just a research thing.
Exactly.
That's the difference.
That's all.
Okay. And after you were done with DIPAC, where to next?
Luckily, in my second year at Rhodes, PwC, usually what happens, accounting firms usually come and recruit students while they're still at varsity for articles. So I was lucky in my second year. PwC came down here at Eden Grove venue. Usually they use Eden Grove venue.
Yeah.
And they interviewed students who were going to get into the CA route. And I was lucky enough to get picked up by PwC in East London. I'm from King Williamstown originally.
Yeah.
So East London was the next route for me, closest to go to. So after DIPAC, I was into articles from 2010 to 2012 at PwC.
Wow. That's quite a journey. But didn't that put some pressure on you though? I won't say to succeed, but in terms of, were you still having fun? I think that's the question.
Oh yes, definitely. I was having fun. So what happens is, after DIPAC, you have to write 2 board exams to qualify as a CA.
Yeah.
So back in my day, we wrote our first board exam in the first month of employment. So I finished studying in 2009. 2010 I started working. So January 2010, I wrote my first board exam. You know, because you're straight from varsity, your mind is still fresh. You know, you still know what's going on and that. So it's a lot more easier for you to adapt. But once you pass that, you have to write 18 months later your second board exam, which for me was in 2011, October, November. And at that point in time, that's where you got to write, okay, fine, I got to balance my work life, my party life, and my studying life. You know, I've got to get a good balance out of it. So, you know, like I say, it's all about balance. You got to enjoy your life. Personally, I believe you can't neglect your personal life. But you got to place concentration on where you want to go in terms of achievements and goals in life.
So are you a CA?
Yeah.
Okay. How is that? Like having, it's CA essay, right?
Yeah.
That's the, you know, does it. You know, when you give someone your card, or when you know, when they write it out and they say, you know, Hiten Keshave, CA essay.
Look, it's a proud achievement to have,
Yeah.
but I don't like to brag myself on that basis that I am a CA. You know?
Yeah.
It's a good achievement, and I'm proud of what I've achieved in life, but I don't like to place my status on that achievement to someone. So, you know, a lot of people, I've seen it, belittle other people who are in the same department or field of work, you know, and just because they're CAs and the other person doesn't have a CA, necessarily find, okay, you're not as good as I am. But that's not necessarily the case. I've seen otherwise.
Okay, and I think something that, you know, because I know that, you know, you recently left the accounting firm. What prompted that decision? Because someone might have said, no, why don't you stay, rise, you know, become a partner one day, listen, you know the type of things that people get told.
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm actually with you. So what happened was, you know, I'm very entrepreneurial. Based on family background also. All my uncles, my parents, you know, they've all owned their own businesses and started from scratch themselves. So it's very much in our blood. So what happened was, during my 2012, my final year of articles, you know, I made a relationship with one of my audit clients. And at that time, ESCOM, they were rolling out this SPP program, which was basically for energy efficiency, encouraging a lot of industries to start going green projects. So I found the gap there in East London, you know, but I knew it was going to be a limited term for only 2 years. But I capitalized on it while I could. So I started my own business. It was called Africa's Energy World. So basically, what I did was I resourced my own material, energy material, lighting, solar geysers from China, and I distributed it to clients that I could win over to say, you know what, this is your return on investment. This is the financial analysis you get from doing this project. You know, and it's a supported function from ESCOM, so you're actually going to get some money back from ESCOM.
Okay. So I think something, because, you know, this is a business show. And I think a lot of people that take business classes or in commerce, you know, you always hear someone saying, one day I want to own my own business. But talking about it and then actually doing it, those are totally different things. Do you think you would have left, let's say, the auditing firm so soon had you not had that background where you grew up in a family that was entrepreneurial?
You know, from young, I've always wanted to leave, you know, and do my own thing. I knew from the day I started working at the auditing firm, you know, in my view, I always felt that I'm making someone else rich. And for me, it's earning my own money through my hard work and effort, sweat and effort. So it's not necessarily about my backgrounding in terms of how I was brought up, and I saw other people. It's just the natural nature of who I am. But you know, the piece of advice I do give, and it's from learning experience, if you do intend to go entrepreneurial route, you know, you have to be prepared for challenges, because it's not all fun and glory when you go out. I learned it myself and the hard way. And a lot of the times, you know, as much as we don't like to hear it, people, it's not about what you know always, it's about who you know also. And I've experienced it while I was doing my own business.
Okay, that's very true. That's very true. You know, unfortunately, you know, because of time, you know, we only have time for, you know, just a few more questions. And I think something you touched on, because I like the fact that, you've gone on this journey where you went through Rhodes, you went through the auditing firms, you got your CA designation, you've started your own business, you've closed it off, you said?
Yes.
Because it was just a 2-year thing, and I'm sure now you're moving on to other things. Does school matter? Because I'm sure, you're a rodent, and you know the life of a rodent. And, some people have a total disregard, I guess, for school. But does it actually matter when you're out there in the real world?
Oh yes, it does. It makes a big difference. It allows, I'll give you an example in my current situation right now. Like I said, I've closed up my business. I've had to relocate to Johannesburg, and I'm employed now in another company.
Yeah.
I don't want to disclose the name of the company because of personal issues and what's going on at the moment. But the experiences that I've come across, it's a very harsh environment, and the management, you yourself will know, studying MBA, the transactional leadership there, it's at a very high level, and employees I've found are very unhappy in that business environment. And without the MBA and understanding, all these management perspectives, I wouldn't have been able to, tackle all the difficulties that we're facing right now. So I think it's important to have.
Yeah.
But you need to have a positive attitude with it.
Yeah.
Don't just study for the sake of it.
Okay. Last 2 questions. Firstly, what advice would you give someone? Because another thing you touched on earlier is the fact that the people you started off with on this journey, let's say, I'm just looking at Rhodes, for example. The people you started on the journey with were not necessarily the people you ended with, because some people were left along the way. What advice do you have for people to get to that end?
Make sure you have your targets, goals, missions, objectives in place.
Yeah.
But be disciplined. Don't neglect your studies, but don't overdo your party. Have the proper balance, and I say this from personal experience because I'll give you an example. Is when I was in my Tepak.
Yeah.
The only time we used to go out was the weekend after we wrote our tests or exams. So we used to write once a month on a Friday.
Yeah.
That weekend was our off weekend to go out and
and enjoy yourself. Oh.
And it paid off. The results paid off. I look back now to where I am, and I have no regrets for that balance. Because in my previous 3 years, I made the most of it. But I said, this is time to shackle down and get myself in order if I want to be where I want to be.
Okay, cool. Last question. I always ask people that come through, this particular question. Best advice you've ever heard, or sort of, best advice you've ever heard.
Don't underestimate anyone. Never undermine a person's integrity, regardless of who they are or what they are. Until you know someone, never ever undermine them.
Okay. And on that note, thank you so much to Hiten Keshave. Thank you so much. He is, a shining example that it is possible, especially if you're an accountant, because I went through the BCom years, and I'm sorry to say that when I started off at Rhodes, I was registered for BCom accounting, but along the way, life happened, and I had to then switch to Ecos and IS, so I do have massive respect, for people that are able to complete that journey, so I much respect.
No, thank you very much.
Much respect. Thank you so much for coming through. We hope that, we will see you in the studio again.
No, definitely. Thanks for having me.
Okay, cool. That was our interview with Hiten Keshave. He is a chartered accountant, business owner, now an MBA student. But inspiring words from a former rodent who's now a rodent again. I don't even know how to address, the issue of a person who's back at Rhodes. Like, are they former then? Yeah, but it is what it is.
89.7 FM.